Guys, most people get ripped off when trying to buy a used car. Here's how you win with cash instead. It can be a jungle out there, I know. So in this video, I want to give you 30 real world, no nonsense tips to help you walk away with a reliable car using cash without wasting a dime. Now, if you're thinking about buying a used car cash, don't buy it until you watch this video first. Let's talk about it. First, consider buying a car used with cash in November, December. A lot of times people are looking to turn their inventory over around that time, and you may be able to strike a deal. Not to mention, that's also the time around the holidays in America, right? Thanksgiving, Christmas, people don't have a whole lot of extra money to use on buying cars around that time of the year. So guess what happens? The demand for cars typically goes down slightly around that time. And when demand goes down, the prices can sort of follow and go down as well. Best time to buy a used car cash is at the end of the year. Number two, have patience, right? Have patience and save more. This is why you don't want to buy a used car cash in a hurry. Because when you buy it in a hurry, you need it because your car went out on Friday and now you need a new car to get to work by Monday. You get rushed, and when you get rushed, you get emotional and you make decisions that aren't logical. So be patient when you're looking to buy a good used car cash. Take your time, and if you have to, save more money. Number three is start with your family and your friends. Perhaps there's a family member, an uncle, an aunt, a grandparent, maybe a cousin who wants to get rid of a car that they're very familiar with. Start there first. You might be able to get a good solid deal when you're dealing with family and friends. Now, don't get me wrong. They can sell you some lemons too. I get it. But for the most part, your family and friends are your first place to go if you're trying to buy a used car cash. Number four, buy a car based on your needs, not your wants first. Right? You may want a blue car with blue interior, but if there's a great deal out there for a white car with a brown interior that can get you from point A to point B, go for it. Think about your needs first when you're buying a used car cash and your wants later. Number five, always be sure to look at a car in person. You never want to buy a used car cash sight unseen, right? You want to be able to look at that car, place eyes on that car, start that car, and do all these things first. Don't just buy a car from an ad or from a Facebook group, right? Or whatever. You want to look at the car, see it in person. Number six, bring a friend when you go look at cars. Don't bring a bunch of friends. You don't need 10 people, right? You need one or two close friends that you trust. And these are friends that can tell you no, right? Don't bring the yes man who's always going to agree with everything you say and like everything. Bring a person who you know is critical and can help you look at some of the finer details of a car when you're looking to purchase one with cash. Listen, you feel the brunt and the pain when you buy things cash, right? So you want to make a really solid, good decision when you're buying it cash, but you don't need the ear of 5 or 10 different people. You just need one or two who either know what they're talking about or is ultra critical and can tell you things that you may not be able to find and see yourself and doesn't mind telling you the truth. Now, number seven is this. When you go to buy a car cash or used car cash, you got to ask lots of questions. You may not be comfortable asking questions, but you need to ask, right? You need the information. Information's king. The more you know about the car, the better. So now's not the time to be shy, right? Number eight, always be willing to walk away. Right? When you're negotiating, the most powerful thing you can do is be willing to walk away. Leave if you have to. So don't be in a position where you need a car today, because otherwise, again, you're going to make a bad decision. So be able to walk away from whoever you're dealing with or talking to about a car. Number nine, do your research. If you like the 2017 Chevy Impalas, go do some research on 2017 Chevy Impalas, right? Understand the car, know what you're getting, know if there were any callbacks by the manufacturer if something went wrong. You know, there was a bad, brakes were bad on this car for some reason, or this was going on. You got to know all that stuff. So do your research. Number 10, always have whatever car you're looking to buy put up on a lift so you and a mechanic can look underneath it and you can see aftermarket parts. So you can see leaks and, rear seal leaks and oil pan leaks and transmission leaks. You can see all those leaks, right? You got to put every car you buy on a lift. You'd be surprised at how many people buy a used car and never look underneath it. You got to look underneath it. That's where all the bad stuff hides. All the leaks are hiding underneath the car. So put it on a lift. Every single car you're thinking about buying. Number 11 is make sure you have a clean title or you have a rebuilt title. So you have to do that research too to make sure that all is well. Number 12 is along the same line, study the Carfax. That way you can at least get a glimpse of the history of the car on paper. Number 13, the obvious, check the oil. pop that hood, lift that hood up, grab that dipstick, pull that oil out, wipe it clean, put it back in there, and check the oil. Has the oil been changed recently, or is the oil black? Is the oil on full, or is the oil a little bit off, right? Just in case the owner of the vehicle didn't change the oil, you can learn a lot by checking the oil. Now, you can easily be deceived by the oil as well. Just understand that. But it's a good practice to check that thing every time. Number 14 is check the transmission fluid. Again, is the transmission fluid a nice texture? Is it burgundy as it should be? Or is it really dark, right? Just like the oil, checking the transmission fluid is always an idea of the health of the transmission. And listen, if the engine is the most important part of a car, 1A, then your transmission is 1B. It's very, very important. It's probably the second most important piece of apparatus on every single car. You want that transmission fluid, and oftentimes the transmission fluid is neglected way more than the oil is, right? So the transmission fluid oftentimes hasn't been changed on most cars, and you can take a look at that to get an idea of what's happening with the transmission. Also, speaking of transmission, little bonus here, make sure when you start the car up, you shift through all the gears, right? You go through every gear. Reverse and drive may be working, but them other gears may be stuck or not working properly. Check all your gears along with the transmission fluid. Now, number 15 is check all your electronics, right? Most cars today are running basically on a computer. So you want to check all your electronics. Now, don't get in the car and blast the radio necessarily, right? We don't need you checking the radio. We need you checking all of the electronics, the lights that come on are supposed to come on in the car, right? How your blinkers are working and all the other things that's tied to the computer. Number 16, be sure that you examine a car that you plan to buy in the daylight. When you put light on something, it illuminates and exposes all the flaws. I don't care if it's a wall in the house or if it's a car outside. When you put the lights on it, you can see the dents, the scratches, the discoloration. You can see everything better in the daytime. Now guys, pause, break. I just want to say this real quick. Guys, I've been buying used cars for 39 years of my life. And in those 39 years, I've purchased about 17 cars for myself and for my children when they were growing up as teenagers. Now, 16 of those cars have been used cars. The only brand new car I ever bought was a 1988 Ford Escort way back in the day. So that's all I've bought all my life is used cars. Now, of my used cars that I bought, 11 of them have been bought with cash over the years. And I haven't had a car payment for 13 years. And I don't plan on having another car payment ever again for the rest of my life. I plan to buy cars cash forever. Now, that's just a little bit of background. Now, if you go to the description box of this video below, the first link that you're gonna find is a free summary of these 30 used car buying tips. Click on that link in the description box below and get your free guide today. It's helped so many people already, and I want you to have it too. And don't forget to share this video with other people. Now, let's get back to the video. Number 17, check the tires plus the spare. Check the tread on the tires. Is the tread nice and thick or the tires bald, right? Check the spare. Is there a spare? Is there equipment in the trunk to change a spare, right? You want to know all that about your used car, because when you buy a used car cash, the last thing you want to do is have to buy that car and then all of a sudden put about another $1,000 into actually getting new tires. So pay attention to the tires. Number 18, when you start the car, and of course you should start every car you plan to buy, make sure you check the smoke that comes out of the tailpipe. Is it a white smoke? Is it a gray smoke? Is it no smoke? Is there smoke coming out and it's not even cold? There's no condensation going on, but is it leaking? Is the tailpipe leaking water, right? Now, some of these things I'm mentioning, you have to do some research. When you buy a good used car cash, there's a learning curve, right? And so you have to pick up some of these things along the way in terms of how to buy a good used car cash. You got to know what you're looking at. You got to research. Put it in ChatGPT or put it in Google. What does the different coloration that's coming out of the tailpipe mean? And your answer is right there, right? Number 19, always check under the hood. Check under the hood before the car is started. Let someone start the car up while you're looking under the hood and you listen for sounds and watch things and make sure things are going normal, right? There's nothing abnormal when you look under the hood. These are small things that you pick up along the way. And let me give you another bonus. be careful about buying the first used car that you see. In other words, the more used cars that you actually examine and look at and research and check out, the more you're going to learn. So the very first one you look at, be leery about that, right? If it's not a great deal and you know it's running right, you want to look at several cars before you buy a car, because the more cars you look at, the more education you're putting yourself through. Listen, when you look at 1 or 2 cars, you got this much knowledge. When you look at 30 cars, you got about this much knowledge. You gain knowledge along the way by looking at many different cars. Now let's go to number 20. Check the rust under the frame. All right, look for water damage along the edges and bottom of the car. That'll give you an idea about the history of the car. There's a lot of cars that sit in floods, right? And are taken away and then sold on the market as used cars, but they don't disclose necessarily the flood damage. Look at the rust. See on the underside of the car if there's been any damage or any wear that you should be aware of. Number 21 is make sure when you start your car, you put your heat on full blast and you put your AC on full blast. You want to see that they work, right? Depending on where you live, hot, cold climate, those things are very, very important. And you'd like them to work when you're buying a good used car with cash. Now, number 22 is this. Take out some time long before you need to buy a car and start doing a little bit of research about cars, right? Because when you go to do all this stuff, you just don't want to go in cold and you don't know anything. Do a little research. Look up some stuff on YouTube. Listen to a podcast or 2 or 3 or 4. Spend a good month or 2 or 3 months, if you can spare that time, researching cars. Listen, cars is not rocket science. And this is not to diminish the value of a good mechanic, right? But cars are not really rocket science. A little bit of research will put you in a better position to buy a good used car cash. You want to avoid the lemons. How do you avoid the lemons? You make sure you have a little bit of knowledge. You ain't got to be Mr. Fix-It or Mrs. Fix-It down the street who can change anything on a car. I'm not saying that. But a little bit of knowledge goes a long way when buying a used car. Now, number 23 is open the trunk. And when you open the trunk, you want to look along the edges of the trunk and the edges of the inside of the car to make sure there's no big discoloration that could indicate maybe there's some aftermarket paint that was on the car. Now, if there is aftermarket paint, that's okay, not a big deal. But typically cars are painted when they're damaged. And so perhaps if the color looks different, there may be a reason the color looks different that has to do with something in that damage report in that Carfax. Or if you look along the edge of the fender wells or the back of the car, over the tires in the back of the car, maybe there's been some replacing there. You gotta do some examination is what I'm saying. And opening the trunk, looking at the inside of the trunk, the color of the trunk versus the color of the outside of the car can give you an indication if something's wrong or has gone wrong in the past. Number 24, when you're negotiating to buy your good used car cash, go ahead and develop a list of contingencies as you look at the car that you're trying to buy. What I mean by that is this. You look at a car and you say, you know what? The brakes may need fixing. The tires are bad. Okay, how can I negotiate my price based on this information? Oh, okay, it has 200,000 miles on it and it needs new tires and it needs maybe a new horn. Oh, okay, so if that's the case, I don't want to buy the car for $10,000. Can I negotiate the price down to $9,000 because of some of these issues that you'll have to fix as soon as you buy the car? Now, this is all in understanding how to negotiate. You come up with certain things that you want to negotiate the price on. Now, number 25 is make sure you test run or test drive the car with no radio on. Turn everything off so you can hear everything in the car that's going on or going wrong. Number 26 is let a professional look at the car. One of the things I always did when I bought used car cash is I just simply said, look, meet me at the Firestone or meet me at the mechanic shop down the street. And when we get there, we're going to change the oil. We're going to put it up on the lift and change the oil. That's how I'm going to do my examination. And so you let a professional, could be a professional mechanic, at that shop look at the car. Right? So that you don't have just your eyes on the car only. You need a professional. And if it costs you $75 or $100 to have a professional look at a car, pay the money. Paying $100 today could save you $10,000 down the road. So it's worth the money if you're serious about a car. Number 27 is be flexible and have options. Put yourself in a position to have options so you're not just stuck with this one car that you have to get by Monday. And be flexible. Maybe you want to have a car with under 200,000 miles, but maybe there's a good deal out there of a car that has 200,000 miles on it, right? Number 28 is always know the book value. right? Understand KBB, Kelley Blue Book, so that you understand what the value of the car that you're buying. You don't want to spend $12,000 on a car that's really worth about $8,000 if you look at the Kelley Blue Book. So know what that is before you buy a car. And then number 29 is don't carry cash, right? You don't have to walk around with $10,000 or $15,000 cash. I wouldn't do it because it's dangerous. If you find a car you want, go to your bank, get a cashier's check, and pay for the car that way, right? However you can do it, but I wouldn't be walking around with a bunch of cash. And number 30 is negotiate fees, and again, negotiate fixes. You want to be a negotiator in this thing. You got cash. Cash is hard to depart with. So you got to learn how to negotiate. Have negotiating talking points when you go buy a car. Take this thing really, really serious is what I'm saying in terms of a negotiation standpoint. And listen, if you buy a car that is from a car lot and they have fees associated, there's some wiggle room. They'll tell you there's no wiggle room, but there's some wiggle room. Be willing to walk away if they don't want to acquiesce or they don't want to work with you on that. Walk in there with a little bit of leverage and negotiate accordingly. So there you have it, guys. 30 tips to help you buy a good, solid used car with cash. The key is planning, patience, and discipline. You got this. Hey, listen, if you got value, smash that like button. Got a comment? Drop it in the comment section below. Let's have a conversation. Share the video with somebody who you know may be looking to buy a used car with cash, or even just to buy a used car. These tips will help. Now, I know a lot of people that watch this channel are just getting into investing, maybe in your first 2 or 3 or 4 years of investing. So I've personally been using the app called Moomoo, and I wanted to introduce it to you guys on this channel. And this video is sponsored by Moomoo. It's a super easy and user-friendly investing app. But at the same time, Moomoo still gives you all of those pro tools. So you got your live market data, you've got your updated investing and market news, and you've got your easy to use charts as well on Moomoo. Now, the best part of using Moomoo is that new users can get up to 60 free stocks when you open up an account and you make a qualifying deposit. Now, that's actually why I tried it out. Now, I tried it out. I like it. It has a user-friendly interface, easy to understand platform, and therefore I wanted to introduce it to you. If you're interested in learning more about Moomoo, do me a favor, click on the link in the description box below and sign up and get your free stocks today. And let me know if you have any questions. Hey, the best person who's going to take care of the old you is the young you. Guys, take good care of yourself and take care.